Now that I am on this path where I'm sharing my experiences with other people to help them, I come across a lot of stories, and some of them, however they're phrased, are quite similar when it comes to the storyline. I make it a point to share my viewpoints and experiences not just to get clout, but it's based on experiences that I had, and my ultimate goal is to try to help someone who is going through something similar to help them navigate through it, because it's a temporary situation. This human existence is a temporary situation. So anything that we go through is temporary. And, there's lessons in everything. So another situation that I can't come across that I hear of a lot, and I have been exposed to myself in the past, is that sometimes people who are not programmed correctly will take your kindness for weakness. They'll do two things. They'll take your kindness for weakness, and they will mistake your passion for aggression. Passion and aggression are two different animals. And if some people were not raised in an environment where they shared emotions, where they shared feelings, where they showed affection, where they actually had a loving and pure relationship, had pure feelings with each other, and there was a sense of distance, a sense of coldness, and they never got away from that. When they come across someone who has a passion or a drive for anything, they misinterpret that as aggression. They don't understand, they're confused. And if they come across a person who just chooses to give of themselves at a level that they can't comprehend, it's a problem. And it makes people uncomfortable. It makes them uncomfortable because they don't understand, because in the back of their mind, they know they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't go out on a limb to do the extra thing that the person is doing. And instead of just trying to sit back and think, wow, you know what, this person is different and I don't fully understand, but I'm going to go ahead and accept the affection. I'm going to accept the care because they don't have to care about me. No, nobody's going to look at it that way. A person that comes from a checkered background of dysfunction is not going to understand it. They're going to be afraid. It scares them. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear the word afraid, but it's true. A lot of people run from things that they're afraid of. And they'll start doing things like distancing themselves, or they might lash out, or they might start giving mixed signals all of a sudden. Their behavior starts to change in an effort to head out the back door. But the problem with that is when you come across a person who is intuitive and in tune with their spirituality, you can't play that shit. Because for some of these people, that's their MO. They get so close to a situation, and then when it gets a little bit too intense for them, instead of just trying to weather it out and see what possibilities can exist, it's like, okay, I don't understand this. It fears me. It makes me nervous. Let me get the hell out. So instead of just saying, you know what, let me just get out, they'll start exhibiting behaviors to try to make the other person exit out of the situation so that way they won't be the bad guy. It's a form of relationship gaslighting. And in relationship gaslighting, what happens is that with one person who's actually the one that is the perpetrator of a lot of the wrongs in the relationship, they'll try to make the other person who hasn't done anything but show love and affection, try to make it seem like they're the heavy, they're the bad guy, and they're the reasons why things went south in the relationship, when in truth it's not. It's a form of projection. And for those of you who don't remember about the projection, I went ahead and did a Zoom about defense mechanisms, and projection is one of them. Gaslighting is a form of projection where you are projecting your negative feelings into someone else to try to make them the perpetrator of all the wrongdoing, when in actuality you were the one who did it. And for those of you who are interested, just go to my website, go to the shop. The Zoom is there. And it's a defense mechanism. So what they're doing is they're trying to make the other person so disinterested they don't want to be bothered. And then when everything falls apart, then all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, that person did so and so, and that's why I had to leave. They don't want to take they don't want to take any responsibility for the fact that they had no intention of doing right by this person. And this person could have told them from jump, this is what I want, this is what I have, because that person is in tune with themselves. They've been through hell and high water and said, you know what, this is what I want. And in the beginning, they told them, this is what I want. But see, that person, because they come from a place of brokenness and dysfunction, they figured that they were going to change that person's mind. But see, when you come across someone who has a spiritual connection, that shit stops. That was that person's MO for a long time. It's a form of commitment phobia. And I know a lot of people, male and female, they're great friends, they're great relatives, they're great co-workers, but when it comes to relationships, they get an F minus. They do a lousy job. It's downright shitty. They're remedial. They ride the emotional short bus. The emotional one. And I'm sorry if that phrase offends anybody. That's too bad. Maybe you need to go to another channel, because I'm not making fun of anybody who rides short buses. So please don't read too much into that phrase. It's just a euphemism. Let it go. Just go with the message, please. I have to understand there's some people that are a little bit too PC. But anyway, that's what it is. And you got to be very careful, because these type of people will take up a lot of your time. They don't want to be around anybody who pays attention. They don't want to be around anybody who questions things. And they darn sure don't want to be around anybody who calls them on their bullshit. They're quick to talk about somebody else, though. And the minute you do that once or twice, and you justified in it, all of a sudden they can't deal anymore. You ain't got time for nothing like this if you got a purpose or a mission. You really don't. But there's a stopping point. So if there's anybody out there who uses that as an excuse to use up somebody else's resource to get something, and then the minute you realize that person does not give them what you want to go ahead and dump them, ain't no blessings for you, baby. Ain't no blessings for you. The only thing you gonna get is what you been getting. You ain't gonna get a minute more. You're not gonna get a dime more. And there are a lot of situations where people sit there and they'll get involved with folks, and they'll sit there and they'll do this fakery, like everything is on point and everything is wonderful. And then when they realize they're not getting what they wanted in the beginning, whether it's a car or a home or a commitment or I mean, what a wedding ring, the minute they realize that they don't get whatever they want, a job or a baby or anything like that, because that's what they went into a relationship to get. When they realized that that person was not going to give it to them, even though that person did say in the beginning that they didn't want to, because they realized they couldn't convince them to do what they wanted to do, all of a sudden they start acting funny. Y'all got to stay mindful. Stay prayed up. It's prayer and meditation. I'm telling you, it opens up the doors to things. It really does. No bullshit. For real. You'll start picking up stuff real quick. So they take your kindness and your generosity for weakness. They take advantage of the situation. They get comfortable. And then they figure that they're going to get exactly what they went in for. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, some time passes and they still ain't got the shit. They lose their patience. And that's when the behavior changes. I'm telling you guys. Y'all be careful and be protected out there. Walk in power, protection, prosperity, and peace always. Stay connected with your Creator and your ancestors always. Peace to you all.